I saw a movie yesterday called Sorry to Bother You. This is a movie directed by Boots Riley, starring Lakeith Stanfield, Tessa Thompson, Armie Hammer, a couple other people. Terry Crews makes an appearance. Uh, Lakeith Stanfield, main character, plays Cassius Green. He is at the beginning of the movie basically gets a job as a telemarketer, and this job promises that if you sell really well you'll become a power caller. uh that's a simple premise. This is not it gets off the rails at a certain point. This was a movie that surprised me with what it had in it. I knew it would be based on trailers, that the filming style and maybe some of the humor would be a little weird, little off kilter. That's the base level of what's interesting and intriguing about this movie. I don't like spoiling plots. I think any movie is better if you see it fresh. But Cassius Green, he basically works to become a power caller, learns more about the company he's working for. Some of this is just in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. Learns that what they do is not the most savory of things, and there's a lot that comes with it. His girlfriend, played by Tessa Thompson, is an artist, and she, encourages him to not be a part of this. I can't go through the whole plot, but what I want to do is talk about what this movie really did. With all of the crazy things that happen, especially about halfway through where there's this bonkers twist on, you find out what this company is doing. With all of it, it did a very good job. To me, it was great satire. It used ridiculous situations, or like an episode of, I don't know, any good episode of what's the show, Black Mirror. If you've watched it, it takes like these ridiculous scenarios, but then uses them just to kind of talk about a modern day current situation or just something simple. And this did that. Basically, through his job, through Tessa Thompson, his girlfriend named Detroit in the movie, all of them this movie is about what we're willing to do to be successful, and more specifically about the persona that we're willing to give ourselves, the masks that we're willing to put on that we'll use to become a certain thing, to do a certain thing, to get to a certain place, to make a certain amount of money, just simple things like that. That's what this movie was about, was who are you, and how far are you willing to ignore who you are in order to get the things that you want. In the trailer, you'll see that at a certain point, Cassius Green, the main character, uses what's called a white voice to sell better on the phone to his telemarketing clients, I guess, or customers or whatever. And that's just kind of the basic idea there, that in order to be successful, you have to put on a certain persona to become somebody different than who you might truly be. The ending was, what am I trying to say? Oh, not the ending. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that there was an actual element of, I don't know if you've seen Starship Troopers or RoboCop or any of those movies, these 80s movies. I'm forgetting the director right now. But they have this element of satire to them, just kind of in the world, through things you see on TV, or just kind of news propaganda, news broadcasts, things like that. And this movie had a big element of that. I was kind of actually surprised that it had that in there. I just wasn't expecting exactly what happened in this movie, and that was great. That's what a movie should do, I think. I had an idea of what to expect going into it with the trailer, and what I got was basically the same concept, but taken to the nth degree. That still surprised me. It wasn't just a simple, oh, it's The Rock, and he's an action guy, and he's gonna save his family. This was something more than I expected, and said something real using ridiculous fake situations. Pretty much the perfect definition of satire. It was great. You should watch it too. Just know there is some pretty graphic nudity you'll see in the ratings if you pay attention to that. None of it's exploitative though. It is used at actually part of the not plot, but just it is used for a reason. So if this movie, if you're a fan of satire, if you're a fan of comedy, there were some pretty funny parts in this. I highly recommend going to see Sorry to Bother You. Thanks for watching, guys.